So, like I said, that's what we can do inside of SolidWorks. There are a lot of use cases for the API outside of SolidWorks. So I've got a simple demonstration app here. This is a Windows application. We build and distribute these in the same manner via MSI, a Microsoft installer package, and if necessary, we can support automatic updates. So this is just a simple demo app to spark your imagination a little bit. I have a few different windows to show here. Typically, we do this for batch automation. So if you need to process many SolidWorks files, we would prefer to handle that from a Windows process that launches SolidWorks, opens files, and closes SolidWorks. That's so we can handle cases where SolidWorks crashes. And when realistically, if you're processing thousands of files, you will encounter a hang up at some point. So if we do that inside of SolidWorks via an add-in, we can't handle the use case where an error comes up inside of SolidWorks, a file fails to open, et cetera, et cetera. So these apps, they control SolidWorks externally. And if SolidWorks crashes, they simply log it and then try again or move on to the next file. So we can add logic to handle that. For use cases where you're processing more than 1,000 files, so tens, hundreds of thousands, or even millions in some cases, we can parallelize that. So we can launch 4 instances of SolidWorks as long as the computer has enough memory and processing power to support that and process 4 files at once or more. So that's what a standalone outside of SolidWorks lets you do. So a few examples. This is a very simple processor. Again, these interfaces can get as complex or as simple as you need them to be. But we do a lot of this where we bulk process SolidWorks files. Typically, we start with some kind of input, like an Excel spreadsheet that just has a list of files. A good example could be a custom property updater where you have column A in your Excel spreadsheet is file path, and columns B through K are custom properties with values that need to be updated. That's a simple one. So in that case, you'd specify that. A lot of times we'd have an output folder for logs, or if you're updating files and spitting out other files, you dump them in an output folder. Then you'd simply hit start, and this log here would tell you what it's doing. Progress bar would update, give you an ETA, and it would chew through those files. So again, a lot easier than opening a file, editing it, closing it manually. You can run these overnight. So that's a very simple one. This is typically what they look like. These are all custom though, so they would look exactly what you need them to be.